On today's show, more problems for IC and Poot, hidden cameras and skeletons at work, all on Hot Science.
Hello and welcome to today's show.
Hi, Sue, are we cooking?
Well, we're not going to make cakes and biscuits, but we are going to make plastic.
Plastic out of milk, yeah, sure.
No, that's all you need. You need some warm milk, and I've had it sitting on this hot plate so that it's not quite boiling. It's just warm if I put my finger in. And to that, we need to add some vinegar.
Oh, can I do that?
Yep, okay.
Vinegar
now,
over here.
we'll need to add at least 1 or 2 tablespoons. So if you go and measure those out, yeah, that's right.
1,
2, that
2.
looks like, and if I give that a stir, okay.
It doesn't smell very nice.
It smells like milk cooking with vinegar. Perhaps if you add another
one?
Yeah, maybe 1.5 or so. Okay, oops. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. And you just stir that around now until you get a glunky mess like that. This is actually curds and whey, and it's those lumpy bits that we want.
What, there's a chemical reaction happening there?
Yeah, the vinegar has separated the milk, and you get the casein, that rubbery stuff, that we're going to make the plastic out of. So all we need to do now is actually just drain that off. Perhaps if I put this strainer here like that and pour this over like that.
And just sift it off a bit.
Yeah. Now those lumpy bits, the curds, are what we're going to make the plastic out of.
Can I?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
So you just pick it up in your hands and squeeze the water out.
Yuck.
And that's ready to make plastic out of.
And, okay, so what do you do with that?
Right, well, I'll just put this down. What we do with that is put it into a mould. I've made one here that's just made out of, I've just put that in a round mould, and you can see that it's not quite dry yet. It's still a bit squishy. I could cut that into a shape, but I have made some different things here. I've made some little animals, and I've made a thing for flipping up in the air and playing heads and tails with.
And they're pretty tough?
Yeah, if you pick up that little mousy thing, or the dice, yep.
Yep, I can't break it.
They are tough, and it really is a dice, and I can use it for playing games with. So it's really simple to make your own plastic, but if you are going to do it, make sure that you have a grown-up to help with the hot plate so you don't burn yourselves.
But just think of all the things we could make. We could make jewellery, like earrings or a bracelet.
Yep, you could make some funny false teeth.
What else? You could, all your kitchen utensils, like all the plastic, like even these spoons.
That's right, the sky's the limit. So why don't you try making your own plastic?
Water pressure.
Water pressure? I know everything about water. Hey, I've got some water pressure in me now. Watch this. Ah! Look at that.
Ooze, you're disgusting.
I see.
You just got me. Ooze, you know all about water pressure by the sound of it?
Sure do.
Water pressure is used for lots of different things. And when you think about water pressure, you might think of things like ooze or water fountains like these. Or a water wheel like this. Well, now we know all about water pressure. I've got a quiz for you and for you.
Oh, great, okay.
Well, I've got a bottle of red-coloured water.
Yeah.
And I've made 3 holes in it. One here at the top.
Yeah.
One down here in the middle.
Right.
And one at the bottom.
Ah.
Okay, and when I remove this sticky tape,
Yeah.
which one do you think is going to squirt the furthest?
Oh, that's a hard one. I reckon maybe the middle one.
Well, let's test it out. Are you
Okay,
ready?
yeah, sure.
Here we go. Top one.
Wow.
Whoa. Middle one.
Faster still.
Bottom
Oh,
one.
wow, look at that. Hey, can I join in, Sue?
Well, okay. Oh, I thought you were going to do something awful like that.
Yeah, why is it doing that, Sue? Why is the bottom one flowing faster than the top 2?
Well, because in this water container, there's pressure, and the water pressure at the bottom is more than the water pressure at top. And remember that water pressure isn't just pushing down, it's pushing up as well and side to side. But there's more pressure at the bottom than at the top.
Oh, that's like when I'm swimming around, Sue. Like, I go right under the water like this, and all the water's pushing on me, and I'm trying to get up like this, and it's hard.
Do you feel the pressure from on top and side to side?
Well.
And also, when I go swimming, I notice that my ears, I feel the pressure in my ears as I go down deep.
Yeah.
And it's all to do with water pressure. Now, IC and Poot are doing some activities with water.
Yeah, hey, let's go take a look what they're doing.
Okay, let's do that.
The Adventures of IC and Poot. The SS Scuttle sank to the bottom of the ocean floor. There were only 2 survivors, IC and Poot. They managed to swim to a deserted island. The island only had one tree and a stagnant pond on it. Both Icy and Poot knew they could survive without food for a few days, but they needed fresh, clean water. A box was washed on shore, containing all sorts of useful bits and pieces, including a candle, matches, a plastic bag, a saucepan and plastic tubing. But how could that help them out of a very thirsty situation?
We've also got a desert island set up here in the studio. It has a stagnant pond and a tree. We also have the box, which contains the candle, the matches, plastic tubing, plastic bag and the saucepan. But how are we going to make clean water out of that? Well, we have a team of investigators over here to help us out. Hello to Ryan and Tristan.
Hi.
What are you going to do?
Oh, well, Tristan and I, we're going to help Icy and Poot just by using evaporation and condensation. The materials we're going to use are a candle, a saucepan, plastic bag, and a box of matches.
And you're not going to use the tubing?
No, we won't use the tubing.
Oh, okay. What about Dion and Greg over here? How are you going to help Icy and Poot?
Oh, we are also going to use evaporation and condensation, but in a different way.
And we thought we'd use the cardboard box, the plastic bag, the plastic tubing, the saucepan, and some leaves from the tree.
So you're not going to use any matches or candles? No. How are they going to get clean water out of that? Well, you'll have to wait. We'll get back to our team of investigators a little bit later on in the show.
Next, skeletons with stories.
White and bony, not plastic and phony. It's busy and strong, not like a thong. Skeletons are cool, just like a pool. It can run, it can jump, it can hop, it can stop. It can go, it can whir. It's marvellous, it's a skeleton. It holds us together just like a frame. It's ugly and white, like a ghost in the night. Without one, we'd be like a big blob of jelly.
Ooh, I don't know if I'd like to be a big blob of jelly.
We would be without a skeleton. They're really important because they do hold us in shape and they give us strength so that we can be strong. They hold our organs where they should be, and our muscles are also attached to them so that we can move our limbs.
But not all animals have the same skeleton that we do. For example, look at this bird.
Hey, that's really neat. This is a pigeon, and you can see all of the bones that would be in the pigeon. And one of the bones you can see is this thing here called the sternum. And look how it's got that keel attached to it. That's where most of the big muscles in a bird are attached because they help the bird to fly.
And also, if you have a look, you can see the little wishbone there too. Just up there. There it is. And that also helps it.
Helps it to be able to move its arms and fly. Let's have a look inside a bone. This is an emu bone. So this isn't a bird that flies. But one thing about bird bones is that they're very light. They're thin, and this is slightly thicker than perhaps flying birds would be. But also, you notice that they're full of air spaces, and these struts give the bone a lot of strength.
The reptile bone, that's the next one. They're quite similar to birds because they have vertebrae, which are backbones, and we've got some reptile bones down here. They're fairly intricate though, these little ones. There's lots of bones. And if we turn this one round, you can see where the backbone comes from.
Yeah, that hole that you can see there is where the spinal cord would be attached, and it would go from the brain inside this brain case all the way along the backbone.
Now, another type of skeleton we have is the tortoise or the turtle. This also has a backbone. You can see it down there, so that's a vertebrae.
You can see the little bones in its arms and legs.
Very cute.
And a turtle or a tortoise has also got a shell on the bottom and on the top of it, which give it protection.
And you can see one here. Now, the turtle or the tortoise doesn't molt its shell. It actually keeps it, and it'll grow with the turtle or the tortoise as it grows.
But there are some animals that do have their skeleton on the outside. It sounds really bizarre, but there are plenty of them. They're called arthropods.
These are invertebrates, so it means they don't have a backbone.
Well, let's have a look at what we've got here. We've got a wasp.
Ooh, pretty mean looking thing, isn't it?
And we've got a scorpion.
Even meaner.
Look at that sting.
Also, we have a stick insect over here.
That's quite beautiful. We've got a funnel web spider.
Oh, got to be careful of them.
Yes.
Then over to a millipede.
Hey, and look, it's all squashed. That's just the exoskeleton of it. And down the front you can see a shrimp. Now, one thing about an animal with an exoskeleton is that if it wants to get bigger, it's got to get rid of that skeleton on the outside. So these animals all need to molt.
And it happens about 7 or 8 times during its lifetime.
So when an animal is going to molt, it pulls out of its old shell and then it'll go and hide somewhere where it's protected, and because underneath it's really squishy. And it takes a little while for that new shell to form, so it swells up with air and water, holds that position for a little while, and then relaxes, and it's got all that new room to grow into.
And a brand new exoskeleton.
It's a really bizarre thought, having your skeleton on the outside, isn't it? I wonder what we'd look like if we could just be skeletons, if we could just see ourselves doing things like standing here now, waving somebody goodbye, or brushing our teeth. Here are some skeletons that have been caught in some unusual sorts of poses.
Condensation.
Sue, what's condensation?
Condensation happens when you breathe out on a cold morning.
Yeah.
And you see that fog where your breath comes out.
Right.
And condensation happens when you breathe onto a mirror.
Oh, like this one here?
Yeah, would you like to breathe on this for me?
Yeah, sure. Whoa! Who's that gorgeous hunk of algae in this mirror here?
Oh, it
eh?
must be you.
Wow.
Let me just fix your hair while you're looking in the mirror. Is that how you'd like
thank
it?
you. Yep. Oh, that's perfect. Here, I'll breathe on it for you, okay?
Ooze, all you've managed to do is leave a bit of ooze on it. Let me help
sorry.
you.
Yeah,
If you
okay.
blow on a mirror like this.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a
Well.
little bit dry, but you get a little bit of mist on top of
I
the mirror.
see that, yeah.
And that happens because the air that you and I breathe out actually contains a lot of water.
Wow.
It comes from our lungs. And it's water vapour, but when it touches a cold surface like the mirror, that
Yeah.
water vapour turns into little droplets that we can see. And that's
Right.
condensation.
Ah.
Now, Ooze, there's one animal that has very long passages in its nose
Yeah.
that help it to absorb some of that water before it passes out into the air again. Can you think what that animal might be?
No.
It is a camel.
Oh.
And a camel's nose, we can't see inside it there, but it's got very long passages that absorb some of the water so that it doesn't lose all its water through its breath.
Right. So if we gave a camel a great big mirror, there wouldn't be any condensation when he breathed
There'd
on
be
it.
very little. But
Right.
remember that, next time you're blowing on a mirror to clean it like this, like this, or your sunglasses, you're
Whoa.
using condensation.
Did you know echidnas have no teeth, but use diet and serrations on the back of the tongue to grind up food?
Well, we're back with our team of investigators who are trying to help Icy and Poot, who are stranded on a desert island. Now, they've got to work with a box of matches, a candle, plastic bag, plastic tubing and a saucepan. We have 2 teams. First of all, Ryan and Tristan, what have you done? Looks very interesting.
Well, what we've done is we've put the candle right there, you can just see it,
Yeah?
and then we dug that into the sand, and then we put the saucepan over the rocks, so it's warming up the water, the stagnant water that's in there, and then it evaporated into water, it came up and it condensated. So when it's there for a bit longer, the dewdrops will fall down there into the little puddle.
Where? Down here?
Yeah, down there.
Won't it all fall out?
No, because
And how long would it take you to get enough water to drink?
about 45 minutes.
And what about the candle? Wouldn't it burn there?
No.
You reckon that's pretty safe?
Yep.
Okay, let's check our other team of investigators. We have Dion and Greg over here. You're still making yours, boys. Tell me what you're doing.
We've put some leaves in here,
Uh-huh.
and now I think we'll pour the stagnant water.
Right, and that's hot.
Yeah.
Now, what did you do to heat that?
We used the candle
Right.
and.
So you did use the candle after all?
Yeah, we decided that that would be a good idea.
Okay, now you've put it in on the leaves. What's that going to do?
Well, it will collect on the leaves and it will soak into the bottom of the cardboard box.
Uh-huh.
And so when we put the saucepan in,
Yep.
and we'll take a piece of plastic tubing and stick that out the side. And then we've already ripped the plastic bag in half and put it over the top.
Right.
And we'll get some bark from the tree and put it in there.
And what's that going to do? It looks very impressive, but what's that going to do?
Well, when the water in the bottom of the cardboard box and the water soaked into the leaves and on top of the leaves, that will actually evaporate and come up and hit the top of the plastic bag.
Right.
And then it will drip down into the middle here, into the dip.
Uh-huh.
And drip into the saucepan, and then we can have a drink.
So you're actually using the plastic tubing to suck it out?
Yeah.
Now, hang on a sec, boys. This wasn't in the proposal. Have you added that?
Yeah, that's so it doesn't drip everywhere, the water.
Ah, okay. Well, there's some great ideas, thanks to our team of investigators. Would you have done the same thing? Now, what if you decided not to have the sun or use a candle? Could you still do it? You have a think about it.
Next, hidden camera surveillance.
Now this must be what it's like to be a spy, snooping around, taking pictures of people and places using a hidden camera. And these days, some cameras are so small you'd hardly even notice them.
The amazing vision you've just seen comes from a camera hidden somewhere on my body. It's Tycam. And cameras are being made so small these days, they can be hidden almost anywhere. Someone who knows all about that is Warren Mallard. Warren, this Tycam is absolutely amazing. Why do we need hidden cameras?
Hidden cameras have many applications in today's society. They can be used to detect theft within the workplace, and also they can be used by investigation companies such as mine to detect fraud related to personal injury claims in insurance fields. These very tiny cameras allow us to walk into workplace situations and places like that and be undetected.
What different types of hidden cameras are there?
We have one here where there's a camera lens fitted and disguised to look like the button on the flap of a sunglasses case, but when you undo it, of course you can see inside there's a lot of printed circuitry, and we just put for effect the arm of a pair of sunglasses hanging out of the top there to give the indication that it is a bona fide pair of sunglasses within the case.
What about, say, bigger cameras? You can put them in bigger objects?
Oh yes, they can be utilised in, I have for instance here a camera that is fitted into a bag, and the lens is actually disguised and fitted into where the badge is, and most people wouldn't pick that up or wouldn't even be suspecting that there'd be a camera in there. Also, the badge, the buttons that operate the camera are located near the handle, the start and the play and record buttons. When you open up this bag, for all intents and purposes, it is just a briefcase or a bag, has a false compartment on the top of the bag, which you can lay papers and so forth on top of. And if I open the bag up for you and take away, remove the concealed panel there, you can see inside that there's a video compact cassette recorder, as well as a camera there with a right-angle lens. It has a right-angle glass prism, which allows the camera to fit in the application that we have.
Can cameras, the hidden cameras, be used at night?
Oh yes, the cameras can be used at night. They do have infrared application, and particularly the black and white cameras that we use, the small ones, the same as the ones we have here. They can be fitted with an infrared filter. The filter fits across the lens, and that gives us an image at night. So it gives us a phosphor green image. The picture that we actually receive is a green picture, but nonetheless it enables us to identify the people and what they're up to. And the applications that that is used for is mainly where you feel a building is going to be broken into and theft is going to take place under cover of night.
So where is miniaturisation going for the future?
Oh, the sky is the limit. I believe that the days of Dick Tracy are already here. They're already upon us, where Dick Tracy would talk into his wristwatch and so forth. We now have wristwatches that have television sets in them and two-way radios, So the sky really is the limit. It's similar to computerisation. Cameras, video cameras are becoming smaller and smaller all the time, and I can't see any stop to it.
As you can see, it all looks innocent enough, but it could be a case of smile, you're on hidden camera.
Oh, you better watch out, Sue. I might be taking pictures of you.
I hope you're not, but it is amazing. We do find cameras everywhere these days. Surveillance cameras in shopping centres, sometimes along the side of the road, watching drivers go past.
Yeah, make sure they're not speeding.
And cameras are used a lot in sports these days. Let's have a look at some of those now.
Oh, sailing cam. Lucky it's waterproof.
Wow, what a wave. Hey, a camera on a lifeboat.
Oh, there's a... Oh, what a crash.
Hey, a camera on a stunt plane.
And I think that's on the tail.
Oh, it's making me giddy. And we've got a camera on a mountain bike in the snow.
Oh, another accident. Oh, that's jockey cam. Now, the camera is actually on the jockey's helmet, so we can see the jockey and the horse.
And this is stump cam. Stump cam's used in cricket, and what we do is we hollow out a cricket stump like this, and we actually slide the camera up inside.
Now, we have a camera here. You can follow the cable up, and the camera is actually in here, and it goes up to a prism, and what happens is the image comes into the prism like that and is shot downwards, so it's picked up by the camera.
It's a really neat idea, and this whole camera is slid inside a hollowed out wicket. This is just a demonstration one, but the wicket looks like a normal wicket. So it's a really neat idea, isn't it? And it gives us a really neat perspective on a sport like cricket.
Did you know the veins in an elephant's ear form a pattern as unique as a human fingerprint?
Quiz time!
Hey, Ooze, I've got one for you. How would you show us condensation?
Oh, that's easy. You get a mirror, breathe on it, and fog it up.
Yeah, that's right. And Rob, millipedes and spiders and crustaceans haven't got a hard skeleton inside. What have they got?
They have an exoskeleton.
Right, too. What sort of skeleton have you got?
Oh, me? I haven't got a skeleton, Sue.
You're a piece of algae, aren't you, Ooze?
Oh, that's not fair. Hey, if I had a skeleton, I wouldn't be able to do this, would I?
Here's something for you to try at home. Why don't you imagine you're on a desert island? You have a stagnant pool, a big plant, you also have a stone, a piece of plastic and a cup. How would you make fresh water?
Well, that's a tough one, but it's time for us to go. We'll see you next time on Hot Science. Bye!
Bye.